All right, number 12 says, which list animals that live in an aquatic ecosystem? You're going to notice that I am not even going to look at the answers. I don't care what the answers are right now, because I want you to raise your hand and tell me, what in the world does this mean? Because aquatic, I forgot about it. I forgot I had to study that vocabulary word. Carter, what does it mean? Aquatic means which list animals that live in water ecosystem. For those of us that may have forgotten what aquatic means. So let's go through the answers. Black bear, deer, and a vole. Now you may have no idea what a vole is, and that's fine. But do all of those live in a water ecosystem? Not a good answer. Ducks, turtles, amphibians. Do those live in aquatic ecosystems? Yes. I like this answer. Do I circle the answer and move on? No, because there might be a better answer. Panthers, monkeys, and snakes. That's kind of a bad one. I don't like that one. Prairie dogs, bison, and grasshoppers. Where do they live? They live in the grassland. All right, we are back from our earthquake. So here we go. How are an estuary and an ocean ecosystem similar? Now, I want you to tell me just a little bit about an estuary. Riley. Brackish water. Now, some of us may not even know what that word means. That means a mix of salt and fresh water. Tell me about the ocean. What do you know about the ocean ecosystem? Megan. Ocean has salt water. Okay. I think that's a good start. Now let's look at our answers. Do they both have rich soil? An estuary maybe, but an ocean? That's not a good answer. They both contain salt water. I'm liking that answer a lot. I'm going to put a maybe beside that. They both support a lot of plant life. Yeah, they do. They both have extremely cold temperatures. Now, if that was taiga and tundra, we might be on okay. All right, so now I've got two answers that seem pretty good. But only one of them is the best answer. And I think when you went to your initial thought, you answered that. So what is it? The answer is B. They both have salt water. They both have salt water. It's brackish water, but it's still salty. Whoa, it's B, a little too far there. The table below shows the climates of 4 areas. What is climate? I don't understand what that means. Jocelyn. Like weather over a long period of time, but for us right now, we're just going to kind of think of it as the weather in an area. The overall weather in an area. Okay? I've got area number 1. Very little rain. It's sandy. It's hot. And there are no trees. I have a blank there. I'm pretty sure we can fill in what's in this area. Hey, that sure sounds a lot like a desert to me. I have another one. There's a lot of rain. The soil, it varies. It's mixed. It's super hot there, and there's a ton of trees. More than likely, where am I? Mia. Rainforest? Ooh, I got to write tiny. That's not easy to do on the board. All right. Now I've got very little rain. Not very good soil. Super cold with no trees. Tundra. I've got a lot of rain. The soil is mixed. The temperatures are moderate. And there's a few trees. Where could I be for that? Yeah, grassland. Absolutely. Which area is most likely a grassland? Well, I'm pretty sure we just answered that in answering all of those questions. Do you see how going through that and mentally working out all those other places helped us answer that question with very little trouble at all? Now, I look around the room of all three of my classes, and I have students that would look at this and say, that is too much stuff, that is too much information, the answer is A, and I am moving on. I'm not even going to bother because I can't do that. Well, number one, like, we don't have any I can'ts in this room because you can. Well, the second thing is, how easy was that? Now, it was work. Did it take a little bit of work and extra time? Yes, it took work and time, but you guys can do that. This is where you have to be very careful. Which best describes what would happen if the wetlands were to dry up? Okay, best describes. Would fewer amphibian and reptile eggs develop? If there was no water, would amphibians, frogs, and snake eggs, would they be able to develop? If there was little or no, probably not. So that's a decent answer. Maybe. Amphibians and reptiles would find another source of prey. Do we really change the food that we go after? So if all the eucalyptus trees died, the koalas would just say, yeah, I'll find something else to eat. No, they would die. That's actually not a good answer. Would the amphibians and reptiles lay their eggs and have them develop on dry land? Would frog eggs, wouldn't work, would it? They wouldn't live. So what's your best answer? Hey, pretty simple, right? Now, I'm looking at this, and in the last class and even in this class, we're spending 2 to 3 minutes per question. Well, on a 30-question test, that would be 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half. That's pretty much the whole class. On a 20-question test, that's 60 minutes. That's the whole class on a Thursday or Friday. If you're finishing in 15 minutes, you're either a super reader and you really know your science, or you're not giving enough work into the test. There's really no middle ground there. Marco caught a blue crab while he was at the beach with his family. He wanted to take it home and put it in the pond, but he was told the crab would not survive. What is most likely the reason the crab needs the ocean to survive? Okay, where did we catch the crab? What type of water? He's wanting to go home and put it in his pond. Can I do that, Connor? Why? What kind of water do I have in a pond? It's fresh. Okay? There's more sunlight in the pond? No. There's fewer predators? Maybe, but I don't think that's the right answer. Maybe. The crab needs less oxygen? No. The crab needs the salt water. Well, that's what we came to the conclusion of before really reading the answers. I think D is a better answer than B. Sure, there may not be as many seagulls and other things in the pond, but that's really not a good place to be. Some animals live in a grassland. A fire burns through the grassland. Which type of animal will best compete for resources, the things that you need to live after the fire? Okay. Would your carnivores do very well after a fire? No. Why? Raise your hand. This is a very deep question. Why? Zoe.
Because they need the herbivores to survive and the grass is all died.
If the grass is gone, I have no herbivores. If the herbivores are gone, I'm a carnivore. I've got nothing to eat. That's a terrible answer. What about one that uses plants for shelter? Right after a fire. Logan, what do you think about that? Are they going to do well?
No, they would not.
No, the fire just went through, right?
Yeah, fire destroyed their home.
All right. What about one that lives underground? Austin, what do you think about that? If a fire burned all the grass, but I live in burrows, am I doing okay? I mean, better than some of the others, right? That's an okay answer. Let's find out if that's the best answer. What about one that builds their nest on the ground? Sally, what probably happened to their nest? It burned too. I only have one answer on here that even seems to be a possibility. C, one that burrows underground. It's common to see animals like deer, especially deer and coyotes in cities And in neighborhoods, especially our neighborhoods, what's most likely the reason that these animals are found? What do you think's the reason behind that? Do you think coyotes and deer just love to be near a house? I mean, there's no shelter, really. There's no food at a house. Well, it depends on whose house they go to. They might get shot, yeah. Now, I don't know about deer. I don't think they do. I certainly know coyotes do not like to be near people. Most of the time when I see deer, I can get to a certain point, and then they do that whole freeze thing. And then if I even breathe, they bolt. They really don't like being around us either, right? Unless you're a person that's feeding the animals, which is not a good thing to do. That's not a good answer. What is a habitat? I see that word over here, but I don't remember what habitat means. What is a habitat?
It's where the animal lives.
Short and simple, where the animal lives. Thinking about all the stuff we've talked about in science class and the things that you see when we are out, are habitats for coyotes and deer growing? Are they increasing? No. Are we putting up more and more forests every day? I don't think so. Seems to me that every day I drive, that seems to be more and more habitat is decreasing, putting more and more things up, tearing down more and more forests. That's the plain and simple reason why they keep coming around our homes. If you notice in California, they have a huge issue with bears being on property. Well, they keep building their homes further and further into California and deeper into the bear territory. Well, if you're taking all of its territory, it's going to find something to do, right? And somewhere to live. And that's why they start having those clashes with bears. Here's a polar bear. What change in the environment would most likely decrease the ability of this animal to survive? Number one, where's the polar bear live? One of two places, Ellie. In the Arctic, in the tundra, or the taiga. Probably the tundra mostly, right? So what does he need to live? So he lives in the tundra. She says he needs cold. Right? We talked about all those adaptations that he has. That big, thick fur. That giant amount of fat on him. Those giant paws. The fact that he doesn't lose heat through just about anything other than his mouth and his feet. Right? Okay? What would most likely decrease, lower his ability to survive? If we increase the Earth's temperature overall, made it hotter, would it be tougher for the polar bear to survive? That's not a bad answer. What if we lowered the temperature? Made it a little colder? He's ready for that though, isn't he? He would do better than you and I would. What if we increased the rain? It would just be more snow there. Would that really bother him? Not with those big fat paws. What about if we decrease the rain? Well, boys and girls, he's already in the second least amount of rainfall area there is in the tundra, right? Probably not going to bother him that much. Most likely, if we increase the Earth's temperature, it would be really tough for him to survive. You guys feel good about that one? Here we go. I feel like we've kind of touched on this, but let's go ahead and do it. What would most likely happen if there were no plants in an ecosystem? Well, take me through that. I'm not going to read the answers yet. All the plants die. What happens first, Riley? All the herbivores die. Zoe, then what? Then all the carnivores. Ashley. I mean, wow, this could be really bad. Aiden. I don't even, I have no idea how that came out. That's on video too. That's really bad. We have audio evidence. I called you Ashley in class. That's horrible. I'm really sorry. Yeah, there's no carnivores. And so what am I really saying, Jocelyn? What's going to happen? Pretty much everything's going to die, right? All right. Well, all life would suffer. That's pretty much what we just said, especially Ashley. She was really good at describing that to me. Some life would suffer. No, we pretty much said all life would suffer. Herbivores would have to become carnivores.
No.